Okay, welcome back to Tech Packs Are Due, the show about shoes, and the only footwear design podcast on the internet ever. No one counts before this one, not a single one of them. All right, because they weren't started by footwear designers, and if you want, if you want to hear what the real talk is, come here and we will give you the real talk. Thank you to all 568 subscribers. Please subscribe to this show. We need you. We are so close to being something. People are actually starting to reach out and be like, randos are reaching out and saying, hey, I can get you to 10x followers right now. And I'm like, cool. We're going to chill on that for a minute. I don't got the money, but people are reaching out. It's kind of crazy. So like and subscribe. Hey, I'm going to look at all you Instagram followers. Come over here and just hit the subscribe button. Just do it. TM, Nike. There's that. Shout out to everybody over at Beaverton. It's your boy. How you doing? Shout out to my peeps in Portland. How's it going? Thanks for stopping by. And then shout out everybody around the United States, in the globe. We have followers in Greece, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
Mikey Berger winning TPD Beach Day Challenge. Shout out to him.
Congrats.
He actually sent us a nice note. We're going to have to, I haven't hit him back yet. This week's been busy, but we're good. Skippy, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there. We've been cranking up some stuff. Paris Fashion Week just happened. We got to get all that content out, but we're hanging on.
Yeah. People don't realize, there are Instagram accounts. I think they're smart because they just focus on posting pictures of shoes. Man, we just focus on this show, and we don't even have time to even digest all the things that happen in shoes. Curry Li Ning, that could be like a show on its own.
Yep. Shea Nike could be its own show. Oh, man. Shoes are always rocking. Things are always going on. It's just exciting to be around the industry, in the industry. Loving it. I got a random freelance project. I got a buddy who so this is a fun thing about college, right? You just be hanging out with people and people go on and do great things. It's not like my high school where I think maybe like 15 people went on to do great things. It's like you go to like a big school and people go on to do cool stuff. And I used to play basketball with some buddies, and you learn a lot about people when you play pickup and stuff. And this guy was really smart. I knew he was a smart guy. He was studying statistics. And I don't know if you took a statistics class, but I was one of the roughest classes I had to take. And luckily, I had a statistics major in my apartment. Mm.
And so he was able to be like, hey, this is this and this and this. And luckily, I was just in a 101. And man, they would give you, you'd have they would do pop quizzes when you come into class sometimes. And I'd be like, it's not the time for this.
Yeah, make sure you're on your toes, man.
They would just be you come in and they just be handing out the little clickers. And I'm like, oh man. And, whatever. But, what was I going to say? Oh, so this guy, he's super smart dude. He went on to work for Nike, and then he went on to work for the Sacramento Kings, and he went on to work, and then he met a bunch of people working for, NBA basketball team, and they went on to partner and buy European basketball teams.
That's crazy.
That's just like a crazy flex. Anyway, but he's still like a normal guy. What's crazy is he texts me we're still in college, and he's just cracking up, and we're all I'm like, dude, your life is insane. He's like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. He's like, I
That's
still feel
awesome.
like I'm 21, and we're back in Provo, but so he reached out because he wanted like, hey, dude, I'm trying to recruit this player. Can you make some graphic? Can you make some stuff that we can make on a T-shirt to like bring him over? I made a bunch of stuff anyway. The dude ended up signing with the Lakers.
What?
And I was like, I had to text my brother, and I'm like, look, hey, this player like signed with the Lakers, and I was like, that's just crazy that that's affecting my life in some way. like,
You're versed
what
in it,
have I? Yeah, what have I done that gets me in that point?
That's crazy.
Oh man. Anyway, so we're here. Man, I was gonna tell you like what happened at pickup last night. I don't think anyone needs to hear that, but it was a heartbreaking.
That's hilarious.
It was
We got more
heartbreaking last
stories, more
night.
stories.
Well, that like, all right, I'll just say it.
No, we don't
It's
have to.
well, the thing is we were playing, and I was doing okay. And last game of the night, like the team got like we played at 21. We got a scoreboard. We got a guy who like runs clock, and we get down. It was like I want to say it was like 12-6, and I was like, guys, like they're just getting easy buckets, and I was like, is this how it's gonna go down? Last game of the night, we're just gonna get run out. Like, is this it? And they pass in the ball to me, and one of the guys is like, as he's going down the court with me, he just looks at me. He's like, "All right, Jake, take over." I'm like, I'm like, all right, whatever. I don't want to, but so I hit 11 straight, and I'm like, usually when someone says take over, that means I get into my head and then I just screw everything up.
No.
But then everything was going down. So it's like we get to like 19 to I want to say it was 1916, I want to say. And I'm like, cool, we're going to win this one. I can't believe we came back. Like, this is going to be nuts. I got a guy that I can hit. He can get a layup on anybody, pretty easily. So it's game point. And we come down, and then they like triple team me, like right off, like half court.
Yeah.
I turn the ball over. They go back and they score. And I'm like, that sucks. So I come down. So now it's no, it was 17-19. So it's 19-19. I'm like, okay, well we got possession. We'll just come down and get it. I got to get it to this guy. That's all I got to do. Get it to this guy. They come down, they double me again. I turn the ball over and I run back and I get the ball back. So now it's like all out scramble. Like everyone's just like going all over the place. And I'm like crossing half court. I get this guy on me. I know I can like get by him. I drive right. And I'm going, and I see my man wide open under the hoop. I mean, wide open. And I'm like, all right, this is it. Like out of the corner of my eye, I get past my dude. He's on my hip, and I'm like, I'm gonna hit my dude. He's gonna lay it up. We're gonna go home. Everyone's gonna be happy. We're gonna be pumped. Two high schoolers, like not good. Like they decent. Like they scored a couple times overnight. Two high schoolers are off. Like I see him like off in the distance. As I'm driving, I did not realize one of the like this kid's like 15. I did not realize he had left his man and came over to me. And as I go to like send the game-winning pass, this little hand like grabs the ball.
He swiped it
and swipes it. Like as I am throwing the pass to win the game, he swipes it and just books it down. And it's a foot race with him and the guy who was the other high schooler that was defending him.
Mm-hmm.
And he makes a layup and it's over.
That's
and
hilarious.
I'm like, and I just sit there and I'm like, that was painful. There's like painful
this is my
moments.
shot here. This is my shot. Pass it. And you're like,
all I had to do was get it to him. And it was right there. I mean, he was like ready to receive.
and I like when I like what was even worse was after it happened, he's like, dude, I was open for like 5 minutes, and I was like, okay, like all right, like, but when you're playing basketball and people are doubling you and you pick up a loose ball and all this
Yeah,
stuff, like
yeah.
you get tunnel vision like pretty hard. But I'm coming down, and then when I finally see him, he's still wide. There's no one. And man, I go in and I'm like, it's right there. I mean, I'm like a second away from letting go. And this like little hand just like eat. And I'm like, it's gone and it's clean.
Yep.
And I'm like, there it goes.
He's like, I gotcha.
And it's gone. And he's gone. And he is gone. Like before I can even like think, he's already past half court. Him and his buddy are jostling, like they're bumping, they're doing all this stuff, and he just lays it in, and it's over. And I'm like,
dang.
And yeah, like when it's like all on you too. Like, no, there's not many times where you just like, oh man, that was all me. That was all me, huh? All right. Let's get to the Q&A. Q&A episode. Sorry.
You start off a little basketball talk.
I don't know if anyone wants to hear that, but basketball, sports are, it's a great way, to, I don't want to say.
Get out there and meet people,
Yeah, but it like forces you to have defeat and forces you to learn how to work with people and all different talent levels, and sports are great. Okay. Question and answer. Skippy's got the questions.
Yeah, I'm going to be moderating this
I've looked at
thing.
the questions, but Skippy's got the questions.
Yeah, he's not going in too blind. Speaking of like Paris Fashion Week, was there anything that stood out to you? There's a lot of good things out there, and I was very surprised.
Yeah. For me, the unexpectedly, I thought Nike showed up. I was like, which I saw a post saying that they don't let people like come in and take pictures all that often. But somehow they let some stuff out, and some of those flats were looking really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Sorry. Some of those flats were looking great. And some of the other like older styles that they're bringing back, all those woven, tabby toe. What's that thing called? The
Rift.
Yeah, the Rift, dude. I thought it looked great. I would own a Rift. There's also a Magista woven coming. I think the EBJ posted it, and that wasn't part of the Fashion Week, but I was like, yeah, give me some of that. Like,
dude, did you see that square toe with the Air Force One?
Yeah. The square toe.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
I think it's fine. Someone, it's a project that someone took on, right? Someone did this. Someone designed it. Someone had to figure out the last for it, the making, the development. It all had to go through all that. And you know what? Like, it's kind of an interesting way to compete with some of those high-end brands that are, I don't know. It's interesting. It's kind of like re-envisioning these shoes just by changing the last. Like, it's not changing the design.
Yeah.
It's just very interesting. It's a bold thing. It makes me wonder if they just like did it as like a project and then they thought, hey, you know what? That's all right. Like, or if someone actually like really pushed that forward as like a direction. Like,
yeah, like what if somebody came in with like cowboy boots and were like, huh. Let's put an Air Force One next to that,
Yeah. It's interesting that you come in with those boots on.
Exactly.
And they teach in like, I know they teach in design school.
That
like
one guy's
very
probably like,
rudimentary in design school. They teach like combination.
yeah,
They
yeah.
take two things that don't normally live together and then smash them together. And what do you get? I don't know. So maybe anyway, my answer is Nike. Try to just like spend
Yeah,
like 2 to 3 minutes on a question, but
yeah. My answer is definitely, I think, Under Armour and Saucony came up. I am very
shout
surprised with
out
Under Armour right now.
shout out Yuri.
I hope the best for them. You know, Under Armour is they're ebbing and flowing right now, but I
Yeah.
definitely think Under Armour showed out. And Saucony is bringing heat too with all their running stuff and the collaborations.
100%. I totally forgot. I think that shoe stole the whole thing.
Yes, the Under Armour
If I
shoe
had to
is
rank
crazy.
it, I think it would be like the Brooks Asics. They're kind of in the same mix, but then I would be like Nike, and then that Under Armour shoe was dope. And you only get to see a little bit of it because they cover it up with like that.
Yeah.
So like the real model is getting covered up. So I don't know what the real model's gonna look like. But you get a little view of the bottom, and the bottom looks kind of crazy. Well done. You know, if you're gonna like tease out a shoe, like a release of a product, make it like only 50% visible. Tease it at a fashion week, and that's, man, I think that rocked, dude. That was good call on that.
Yeah, no, I love that. Maybe you never know. TPD might be out there, you know. That would be awesome.
You know, if one day, if we get out, if we get big enough, and then we show up, that'd be crazy. Oh man. So everyone would love our fresh footwear design take on what's going on. But the cool thing about the Brooks one is they show like, you know, they're like half showing all the blueprints, all the work that went into like you know, reimagining and bringing these old styles back together. There's a lot of work that goes into it because you don't have all this stuff like readily available. At least I was there, and I know there's archival things, but it doesn't always translate. You know, like you're still gonna have to go in and redo the lines and redo and there's a lot of lines. Those old school styles, those old in you know, someone's got to reimagine it because you know the molds probably don't exist, the print layers don't exist anymore, the screens don't exist anymore, so you're gonna have to go through and do all that. But it's cool that they showed it. So shout out to my like guy. I'm gonna have to wash my likes. I have to watch him. I have to watch out for that dude.
He's counting. He's counting over there.
He's over there. All right. He said 15 times already. You're gonna get it. All right, we'll get to the next one.
All right. We're pulling this one from Instagram from Pat the Shoemaker. Can you describe what the average 9 to 5 working as a brand forward designer looks like?
Yeah. Well, first off, if the brand's doing it right, it's not always 9 to 5. If the brand's doing it right and they trust their people, you know, usually it's like, you know, rolling at 9:30, leave for 4:30, 5, you know, like if they're doing it right, it's not a 9 to 5, but it's in the seat type of situation. Just because it's not real life anymore. And I think everyone, at least that I know, has I don't think anyone who lives right next to the office, you know. So there's always there's a commute and there's traffic and all that junk. So I know at Brooks there's a couple guys that live really close to the office because they're single dudes, but there's families, there's, you know, people grow and anyway. So what I've liked about Footwear, there's been a at least somewhat of a work-life balance. And then when they tighten the strings on you, if it's like 9 to 5, then like because what happens in footwear is at least I know that sometimes you carry your work and you have to work in the evening just because you want to get ahead or you have an idea and you want to like push forward. And so people who want like 9 to 5, like just be ready for me to cut the phone off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you ever want anything outside of 9 to 5, like then you better loosen up the strings on like if I roll in at 10 o'clock, don't be going crazy.
Yeah.
I had some buddies that were leaving like at 3 o'clock to like go on runs, and then they wouldn't come back. You know, like they would leave at 3 o'clock, go work out. Because it's just if you're creative, like sitting at a desk all day is just like gonna kill it. You know, it's like there's a little bit of that. So that's 9 to 5. If that's what's going on, like
Flexible.
something's gone wrong, or people abuse it, you know, and whatever. Next, I would say like it just depends on where you're at and what type of designer you are. If you're an innovation, you could be anywhere and everywhere. Throughout the process, you could be innovation. You could be tech packing and ideating in the same day. You could be, you know, presenting and ideating in the same day. But if you're an inline, you kind of have your year broke up into like months. So unless you're covering like multiple seasons, then it could be pretty rough. But if you're an inline designer, usually you're doing like ideation rounds, ideation. And so you'll have like a month or two where that's like what you're doing. Then sometimes you'll have like a month or two, you know, maybe of tech packing where that's like where you know that's what you're doing when you're coming in.
Yeah.
There's definitely weeks like so it ebbs and flows, right? So like there'll be weeks where you're like presenting and you know that this week is a week where you shouldn't get feedback all 7 days of the week or you're going to wait on it. I've also noticed, and I don't know because I've never worked another job other than design work, that like things just like pick up and they just like drop off. So like if you get your designs in and you have a big design check off, like department send off, you're gonna send your tech packs, and then you just kind of there's nothing to do. Like you'll just and that's usually when you try to like bank in vacation, you try to bank in some stuff. And then the next thing would be like, well, then you might be on the Asia travel, like, you know, realm. So you'll be the next cohort to go develop your shoes, and maybe that's a month later after, because like when you send off all your tech packs, everyone's got to like do the development side of the thing. And so maybe you'll get samples back. And so I think someone asked like, what's your favorite part of the, did someone ask that? Like, what's your,
that was one of my later questions, but yeah, I mean, we could speak on it too.
So
what's your,
for me, like,
so wait, the question is, what is your favorite part of like the footwear process or the most important part?
Important, I don't know. Probably. But favorite is when you see like for me it was like seeing first round pictures of your samples. Like that was awesome to me. Like when you see like oh man, I'm saying like again, shout out like guy. When you see your all your work come together and usually you get a picture early before they like ship. You'll see your stuff like on like a little pedestal, and you'll see your upper, maybe a midsole, maybe a 3D print part, and you'll see them all together before it comes over to you. And that's usually the most exciting for me because you'll see it and be like, "Yo, that's crazy!" Like, "Oh man!" And then you get it in hand, and then you'll have at least a little bit of time to digest it, sit with it, be like, "Okay, this is cool," and then move forward. But like that's the part, if we're talking about most favorite versus least favorite, because I always had a hard time, and I think it came through on a lot of our guest episodes. If you go back to Seth Maxwell, and I didn't really get it out of Valerie, but she's just I don't think anything. I think Valerie's unflappable. She's probably untouchable. But I think my least favorite times is like those feedback times. I think if you're in a creative role, I don't care if it's graphic or footwear or product, you're going to get feedback because you're the most visible, tangible, critiquable. And what's funny is, in my experience, like product line and marketing and the people writing the briefs didn't get a lot of this. But when you're creating the product, you're going to get expect that you're going to get feedback from every source possible. And that was like my least favorite, I'd say. Like that was my least favorite part of footwear. It still is. And so I asked a lot of like, how do you deal with it? Because you would get stuff from people and and not to get an ego, but I'd have to be like, why are you telling me anything? Like, who are you? You know, and again, not to get an ego, but at some point you've got to deduce like who's important. Is this person important? And are they not? Or what level of experience do they have? Because I'd be getting feedback from, even the most like low level merch, person who's just taking my product around, and sure, they're getting feedback and they're hearing things, but like I have a degree in this. Like, you'd have to like do some of that. And you have to, and it just depends. Like if I was a first year apprentice or a designer one, maybe I would take in all those feedback channels and I would, think about them more. But when you get to a certain level, those start to not matter as much. You really just want to hear like from this guy, and this guy. And then you say, okay, those opinions are opinions that matter because, this guy's been doing it for 35 years. And maybe you'll start to be like, well, that's a biased opinion, and or you'll figure out your lanes of like, okay, I've heard from this guy before, and it's led to this change, and it's cool. Anyway, so to get back, answer the question for Pat. It can be all over the place. Some days it's super chill. There was my first two summer times at Brooks. I had nothing to do. Our process was such that it was just seasonal. We didn't have any pre-seasonal work. So I remember the month of July one year just coming in, checking on people, and just like dipping at like, it was literally like 1 or 2 in the afternoon. I'd just be like, all right, well, we did it. Like, let's, because it was summertime in Seattle. It's a sunny day. Like we only get 2 months of that out of the year. And we would just be like, okay, no shoes today, no samples, no revisions. Cool, out. And that was perfectly okay. And that's what, which is how it should be, honestly. You are it again. Understand the situation.
Understand where you're working at.
Understand
the vibes are
what the intensity of the process sometimes, and there are times where you will be just strapped and sweating, trying to figure out the smallest thing. So it makes sense that sometimes we have some time to just kind of do whatever and recharge, and that should be fine.
Like,
all right, some people are still operating on COVID hours. You still have like New Balances doing 3 days in the office. Nike does 4, and you have that day, yeah, to do stuff. But if it's a work from home day, like, understand, like, people are probably doing laundry at some point in the day. Like, let's not like call it what it is. It's a day that you don't have to get up and get into traffic. You don't have to get up and get into the office. And so all those are important because you're working and not realizing it going in. It's somewhat of a high stress job, like, and you have to be able to manage that somehow.
Yeah.
So, all right,
next one.
Sorry, got lost in that one.
No, it's cool. So speaking of, like, you were talking about like just experience and people's levels, you think doing footwear or just like in general, do you think it's necessary to go to design schools, and why? Because like, we're all creative people. We get creative tendencies from any and everywhere.
Right.
Do you think a degree is worth it? And I'll talk about this one too. But
yeah. We need your insight. Right now, my opinion is yes. And in the past, I think I've talked about it, and it's been no.
Yeah, I'm so surprised. I thought you were gonna say no.
I would love to have this show be like the educational thing that you can tune into and understand that maybe not. But there is a level of, and I would love to get to that point where I can cut through, cut through the noise of what school is. But in order to get a level of like design thinking, I think you have to immerse yourself in a academic situation. At least for a time. So but I have not seen a lot of people come into footwear without something. I've only seen maybe 1 or 2 designers without a degree, but I understand they're exceptional 3-dimensional thinkers. I mean, excellent. They've been drawing cars. They're really into like really good rendering, and they had those skills. They developed them outside of school, but then they had a little bit of schooling. They just didn't want to pay for it. They went to XYZ college. They got enough skill to be good, got a job, and then later, I don't even think they finished a degree. But I had a buddy who went to Whirlpool as an industrial designer, didn't finish. He had to come back, finish up, and then go. He went back. He had a full-time job. But he'd acquired the skills to do it. I just don't know if you can get to it without having an intensive situation and years of trying to figure it out a little bit. Because, man, I would love to get to a point where I could say, like, you don't have to pay money to a government organization to like a subsidized organization to get the acumen to design shoes. Like, I would love to be able to get to that point. I just don't know if it exists yet.
I totally agree, because like it is hard, and like I think you do need that academic background in order to do design work, because especially like you come in your first year and all you know really about art is just fine art.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know anything about design, and then like at least from my experience, the design courses that I've taken through like my 4 years definitely molded me into more of a designer and not like thinking about like a fine arts thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And they get you like thinking like 3D. You're like it's a process. They slowly build you up into. They don't just throw you in saying, "Hey, do a thesis now." They help you through that process of like, "Hey, are you thinking about this cube? How's this cube have different dimensionality? Okay, now can we cut this cube and still have different dimensionality in that cube, you know.
Right.
And then now we're gonna take a cube and get rid of the cube, and we're gonna turn it into a real form. So it's just like all that thinking throughout your, your 4 years gets turned into like an actual product.
Yeah.
And like for me, I don't like working by myself. I always love like just working with my other like fellow students and colleagues, and just like seeing what they create and just like riffing off each other, trying to like figure out, okay, where you want to go with this project. And like I always just enjoy doing that. I hate working alone per se, because I'm such like a. It's not even like I'm like an extrovert really. I just like really enjoy. I love design enough that like, okay, I want to help other people elevate their design.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat. I have a hard time not being vocal and not being like, what are you doing? What do you think about this? What do you think about my work? Do you think it's cool? Because I feel like there's a level of gut checking. When I got to BYU, I was very much off of my own. I was nervous to talk to kids because I thought they're trying to vote me off, you know, as much as I'm trying to get them voted off, you know. Because there was like there's 15 spots. There's 60 of us. How are we going to do this, you know? Like I don't know how the staff's going to make their decisions, and so I don't want to, you know, I don't want to mess this up for myself by getting you in, you know, and
yeah.
So, I will say, so yeah, I think the answer is like, yeah, you probably, because yeah, I think you said it great. You're going to have to, because I came in with just fine art. And there's just and it took me even the first semester to understand, like, I don't get it. And then into the next semester, I started to be like, oh, okay. And it took one professor being able to teach me a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
The other professors had been very taught me like industrial design sketching skills. One was like so spacey that I didn't have no idea what he was saying. And my assignments were like way off the mark. And I didn't know what I had done wrong, but they were all wrong. Like everything was wrong. And it was just kind of shocking. And I was just like, man, I guess I just don't get this. And then it was the next semester where each assignment was like, take a unit of measure, like make a shape, one unit, whatever that thing is, and then make 50 things out of that one unit. You know what? It was pink foam, you know, you're cutting pink foam, but then we also went to the like Home Depot and bought like a roll of screen, like for a screen door. And I was in the studio making 6x6 screen pieces. I'd crimp the edges and then do like an action and make something out of it. And you had to make 30 of them. And it forces yourself to think, how do I take this one thing and create many things out of it? And so it starts to just like break you a little bit out of that fine arts mold, so to speak. And I just don't think, I think you can brief yourself stuff like that. And you can start to get after it a little bit. But I really think at this point in time, until change makers like us come in and make something real, which I think, I don't know, I'm trying. It's not until that happens that we're going to, you know, create something where you can get the skills.
And like
for free or less than tuition.
Yeah, and I'll move on to the next question after. But I got like one more thing I want to say. Like, definitely, like when you were saying like doing 30 iterations of that out of the screen, like you can do that, but like at the same time, like a professor has you have a deadline with your professor, and then like that keeps you accountable. So it's like, okay, it's Monday. You have to present this whole 30 concepts to your professor. Do you have those
Mm-hmm.
concepts? And now
Yeah.
is your professor going to like see you as your concepts and like, oh, you only have 20. What happened?
Right.
And compare in comparison to like doing it yourself at home, and you're like, okay, I have 20 on Monday. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's different. It's different like interpretation. So you definitely like need that experience at school.
Yeah. It
Holds you
was
accountable.
funny. It was that first semester of BYU. They rank you on. I didn't realize until like after, but they rank you on your grades in the classes.
Mm-hmm.
I was like AABB, which put me in the middle of the pack, right? You want AAA, and that's like a definite you're going in. And the next semester, I went from AABB to like A plus A plus A because it was like I I figured it out, and but it was serious, um, serious inflection because in the cold of the winter at BYU, I was told you're not gonna make it unless you kill it this next semester. And so you have like this hard look at yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, no backup plans, let's get it. And it worked out. So it prepares you. It's good reflection. All right,
Yeah,
get back. Next
and we
one.
and we might have to do this like as a two-parter. And that's fine, right?
I kind of want to just hit it, but let's go.
We'll see. I don't know. There's a lot of questions. Another one from the Instagram. This is design BYOM.
Okay.
Where do you think the future of footwear is heading?
Mm,
And if you need to sit on this one, I can answer it too.
maybe we start with you on this one because
Yeah,
I have an answer, but I don't know.
yeah. I think the future of footwear right now is an interesting point. I think there's a lot of brands that are taking risks with other creators. So like I definitely and this is where I am interested in seeing my way into footwear is just like, you are one entity, one person, and then you are maybe collaborating with like a Nike or Adidas or anything like that. And you're interpreting their product in your own light. Like I follow Salehi. He's worked with multiple brands. I
Yeah.
follow Joe Freshgoods. He's worked with I think two brands, New Balance and
Yep.
I think Saucony or something. But I don't know. Like these people to me are like really cool because they're taking their own stories, experiences, and art forms, and they're turning it into something that New Balance or something that Nike couldn't create on their own. And like
Mm,
theoretically, they could, but like their products are more performance driven instead of story relating to like people of color or people of like different backgrounds. They care more about like designing a product that does something for the user, not
right.
necessarily creating a product that does something in creating a story around it. So
Mm-hmm.
so I think it's a good place for like being a creative independent person where like you take this brand and elevated it. So I think
Right.
that's where the footwear is going.
I think that's not going to end. We saw with that Under Armour Paris Fashion Week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think I was not sure about where Salehi's sponge thing was going to go, but seeing the most recent
Yo, it is
shoe,
crazy.
I was like, okay, there's something happening. I actually, and I think we've talked about Skylark.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, seeing these little brands pop up is cool. I don't know. I think there could be a disruptor brand at some point. I don't know if that exists yet. Um, with the advent of social media, you can pop off from almost anywhere. virality. But what's hard is when you want to build a brand that spans across time, depending on a viral moment is literally a moment. You'll have creators. Think about, have you seen that Crazy L's Cafe? That it's like a little like this little reel that came out. Crazy girl up in Canada. I mean, she's not crazy. She's just fine. She just was funny. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm Els from Elf Cafe, and come over to and just like did this crazy thing, just like said it all in one sentence, like really fast, slurred her speech, and like it went super viral, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sales gone up. She's got a line around the corner. How long is that gonna last?
Yeah.
I
That's
don't know.
true.
Now imagine that for a shoe moment. You get something viral that goes crazy, and then literally within a few days, like the orders are going to stop because the next viral moment's going to come in. So Salehi's interesting because I think he has viral moments,
Mm-hmm.
but he also has like a depth now that he like plays off of. Anyway, I think I have my doubts about 3D printing. Nothing in 3D printing right now has shown me that, like, I mean, I want to do a Zellerfeld. Skippy wants to do a Zellerfeld. Nothing there has really. I mean, it's only been when it's been backed up by a brand that it's been good. Um, Even Adidas has backed off 3D printing. Um, I just don't think it's there. So I think this
Well,
is,
Adidas has
man.
a
It's hard to
3D printed
it's hard to
basketball shoe coming.
yeah, it's hard for me to project out, but obviously collabs are not going to stop. There are always new artists that are coming out with new stuff. Um, I think foams are going to continue to get better and better and better.
Mm-hmm.
And to kind of cap the question off, like if we're talking about midsole stacks, like it's always going to go boop 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 boop. Like it's never going to it's never going to stay in one spot. Basketball right now is owned completely by Chinese brands. There's almost nothing coming out of Oregon or Boston that is breaking that at the moment. So that challenge is on. And it's really hard because they're the source, and so they are just designing and developing every day and killing it. So basketball is like completely strangled by, Li Ning basically is his, and
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't look like it's going to stop. Well, Steph Curry just signed. Uh, everyone's all eyes. They got Klay Thompson. Kyrie's shoes are good. I mean, everything about it is like dream big, and there's no bigger players on the planet right now that people look at. And man, they have literally stolen the show. And I hope if in my short term future, I would think Nike should be looking at Li Ning and being like, okay, here's a brand that has taken players and built out entire
Mm-hmm.
reps around these people. I would take a Caitlin Clark and an AJ and make complete. I mean, Asia Wilson's the best player in the WNBA. Does she have the same amount of following and the energy? I'm not sure. I'm not into that. I'm not in there. Just from a consumer on the outside, it looks like all the energy is around one single person.
Mm-hmm.
All energy is like focused like a beam on her, and I would just celebrate it. Because then what happens if Caitlin Clark says, "Hey, I'm gonna go join Curry Brand at Li Ning because you guys don't support." I mean, like, just
Yeah.
come on, and but so I would be looking at, like, obviously, their technology is updating so much faster, and I don't know. There's just something's not right. So I think you might see a response. But Nike's always working on something, so
Yeah. Just
they're always
just like
doing
as we've seen with Paris Fashion Week.
they're always doing something, man. And we don't know it until we see it, and it's cool. Um, man, but I don't know. Hopefully 3D print does something, but I really I need to see it first. It's not a great answer, but
That's a good answer. Let's see.
cyclical fashion, but performance is always pushing the envelope.
I'm gonna do another one from the from Instagram.
Yep.
Is sometimes this is from Unusual Frogs. Is sometimes design is it just a vibe check?
Wait, say it again.
Is sometimes design just a vibe check?
Oh
I feel like this is a good question.
man, I splashed on myself. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
I feel like yes and no. Like, sometimes there's times when like you're in research and development, you're trying to figure out what the next best thing is. And then you find something, you're like, okay, and you roll with it. And you have
Yep.
the research to back it up. And there's times when you're looking at something, you're like, something seems off. And I don't know
Yeah.
why. And I don't like it.
Yep. That's a great point.
So there's definitely like, it can be a vibe check, but also sometimes a lot of times we do research and we try to figure it all out. And that's just kind of how the process went.
Yeah. The thing that I was told a lot of stuff, and I've been trying to check my own design, my own footwear. Upbringing, if you want to call
Yeah.
it. Um, I think that yeah, and what you're saying is right too. That you will have performance metrics, but I think what gets hard is when you're in this super ambiguity, just trying to hit a look, and that's when it gets into the weird zone of when it's fresh and everyone knows it's fresh. That's when we just say, cool, check it off, let's go. And sometimes that'll happen, and you'll get that, and it'll be, I don't want to say one and done, because there's always something you got to do to make it a little bit better and a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, if it's just not right, I don't want to say vibes, because I think that's like a word of today, and I think that can get people in trouble and it can mess it up. But the vibe is like, but I just, because sometimes footwear does not work on vibes. Sometimes footwear works on deadlines.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and money and volume. And sometimes you have to take 85% done. And you force everyone to swallow a pill that they don't want to swallow, but it's a business too. So vibes, sometimes it's not a business term. Like, it's not, that's not dollars and cents, man. So I think it does matter. And I think if you are able, if you're
if you're good at designing and you understand briefs and you're able to hit things, and no one's ever 100%. I would definitely check that as well. So I think the farther into footwear you get, the better
Mhm.
you are at having a taste level that hits the vibe quickly, hits the brief, which is probably where the vibes are coming from, or hits newness, which is probably where vibes come from. But if it's not new, if it's not fresh, people aren't going to feel it. And when you talk about vibes, it's probably talking about market readiness. someone is thinking about this from a standpoint of volume and can we sell it, and that will quickly tell you if vibes are not off. But sometimes I've had it where I've felt all the right things vibe check wise, and people will just say I don't, and I'm a decision maker XYZ down the road, and the vibe like isn't that. I would be very careful, like, and not to stamp on this thought, but I would be very careful, like bringing like vibes into a professional footwear situation. Um, Vibes is right, but and I think everyone feels vibes, but you want to you need to be as strategic as possible. Like you're a strategic thinker.
Yeah, this is one thing now that
Yeah,
definitely my professor told me. It was like, if you design something or if like you have a sketch, there has to be a reason for everything you're doing here.
yeah,
And if you come in and just say, it just looks cool, you're instantly discredited. Like
yeah,
that design is going to be discredited because you didn't think through what you were trying to do with this
yeah.
concept.
You know what though? I want to push back on that. I had professors say the exact same thing.
Okay.
In footwear, it is not the same. I think. What do I want to say? If I look around the room here, is there a product? Because that is just mushy nonsense. Because like not every line means something. Not every. At some point, you're going to be able to break down design. You're going to be able to break down your own thoughts. If
Mm-hmm.
I probe you on something, at some point your level of thinking is just gone, and it's probably 3 questions deep. like, why did you do this? Because of this. Well, why did you do that? Because of that. Well, why did you do this one? I don't know. That's where it goes, and people think that you have to have like a definitive answer for every little thing. Why is it a rounded shape? Oh, because it's friendly. But how? Why is it that round? Is that too friendly? What's too friendly? And then it's a Socratic method. Like anyone who has taken logic or reasoning understands that the human brain does not go, you know, 18 miles deep into something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I do want to say is sometimes it is just about, does it look good? And yeah, it does. Cool. Some people, man, they just don't let it go, man. They make this job so hard sometimes, and there's too many minds around it sometimes. And
That's
anyway,
funny.
uh,
Well,
yeah,
yeah. I got another general question for us, and this hopefully is a fun one. Um, what is something that you own that might seem pointless to others, but it means something or it means a little more to you? And that could be shoes, or it can be like a bike. Like you own a bike, and nobody cares about bikes.
yeah. Nobody cares about bikes. I just taught my daughter how to ride a bike, man.
That's cool.
That was crazy. I couldn't even. My mind didn't even wrap around it. Um. Uh.
I can go. I got. I
Yeah,
got.
man.
I got. I low key collect like Funko Pops, and I have them. I mostly have them because they resonate with me because of a certain anime or show that
Right.
I love. Like I love Naruto, and
Nice.
Itachi is one of my favorite characters, so I have a Funko Pop of him. I
Yeah.
have moments in Dragon Ball Z that are my favorite moments, like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. That's
Yeah.
my newest Funko Pop I just bought. So I'm like,
Ooh.
I don't know. There's these little things of time that like resonate with me. That so like those things, people and people probably see that you're like, it's just a toy. Why is it in the box? Take it out the box, something like that, you know.
Oh yeah.
But it's like no, these are little moments that like I don't know impacted me growing up, and I love them. So yeah,
Yeah.
and I heard Funko Pops might be
Um.
going out of business. So
Wait. What?
I heard they might be going out of business.
Oh man, I was just about to suggest. I went. The Funko HQ is in Everett, Washington.
Really?
You can go there, dude. It's like a whole. It's like an exhibit. It's kind of crazy. They have like big Funkos, like
Whoa.
all over the place doing stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty. It's cool. It's like a. It might be a 30-minute, walk around. It's not. It's not like a you book flight and come out here, but it's pretty great. I mean,
It's
if you're
definitely
if
one of my
you're
guilty
around,
pleasures of like going out. We go, me and my wife goes to the mall, and we're just like,
yeah.
oh, we got to go see the Funko Pops, and she gets a couple sometimes, and I'm looking around, I'm like, oh, maybe I get this one, you know.
That's what makes me surprised that they might be going out of business. That's kind of crazy. At the place, you can make your own Funko Pop.
Yeah, my wife's sister made us like me and my wife a Funko Pop of each other. So
Nice. Oh, that's cool. Pointless thing that I own. Hmm. I have definitely. I mean, I've definitely collected stuff like Hot Wheels, and
mm-hmm.
I got really into Hot Wheels as a kid, and never, types things you didn't open them, you just keep them. Um, got into the whole treasure hunt land. People thought that was pointless. I've collected like obviously shoes, but mostly it's just my own stuff and like colorways that I don't want to forget. They're all kind of sitting around me. Pointless though? I mean, it doesn't seem pointless. Like none of it seems pointless to me. It all seems like special.
Yeah, it's like
It
it's a
reminds
moment
me
of
of
something.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah. Uh,
so definitely shoes.
I wouldn't say shoes. I don't know, man. Not really. Not really. I mean, it's all real.
Yeah, but like, so somebody else they'd be like, shoes are pointless. Why do you have so many shoes? You don't even need those that many shoes.
Yeah, but even those shoes are ones that I did.
Yeah.
Like it's not pointless. Uh, I would say no. I do not have pointless things.
Good. Good.
I don't think so.
All right. Take another one from Instagram.
Yep.
This is from Footwear Explorations. They said, I'm looking to make a career pivot from PLM to design. Any advice? And this is interesting too because I'm still trying to learn what is PLM.
Yeah.
So whatever you say here, I'm just taking it all in.
Yeah, that's great. PLM is interesting. It is the consumer arm. So if you think about design school, you do the whole thing. You know, you're looking at the consumer, you're drawing the stuff based on what you've learned, and then you're also developing it. It's like, so design school, you're doing the whole thing. And when I was doing handbags at the little small brand that I was at,
Mm-hmm.
I did the whole thing, consumer too. And we had eventually some people that was like pretty tuned in to the market that we were in that was like saying, oh, we need this bag now, or we need that bag, and we need this bag. But before that, it was all just myself. But yeah, so the PLM side is that arm of understanding the consumer and then presenting the product brief for, we need this shoe because of XYZ, price point, stack height, material. If it's already known, they'll grab that from material design or whatever. You know, here's what people are saying about this franchise model. We need to do this now. You know, all of these things, and they'll do, or if they're doing a new product, I've gone with PLMs to do, you know, like panel interviews of consumers, or, you know, they'll pay kind of like what IDEO does. Sometimes they'll have like a bunch of people in a room and just try to like get after what people want or what they're looking for, or insights, try to grab the insight. You know, we went to an Orange Theory. We were really trying to like get after what an Orange Theory shoe could do, or why they're wearing this shoe to Orange Theory, and and yeah, so understanding people. But the jump is hard. I have not met a product line manager that's become a footwear designer. If you are, jump into our comments and tell us what that was like. I don't have that experience. I've not met anyone that's done that. But what I would say is, you really got to convince some people that you can do shoes. If you're in a footwear brand and you're a PLM, you probably have an easier road because you're already there. There's like a level of separation. Like if I'm trying to become a PLM, I have to convince people that I understand the consumer. At a baseline, I feel like in industrial, as a footwear designer, you kind of easily kind of tick all of the marks. You're kind of hitting everything. You have to have a joint understanding of like everything in order to design the product. I don't think a PLM has to necessarily understand how a designer designs and the thinking involved in design. Like they need to understand the consumer. I don't think they need to understand development. A good PLM will probably do it. Would probably understand the whole back to front. But it's a hard road because you're going to have to convince people you can draw. You're going to have to convince people that you can use Illustrator. You're going to have to convince people that you can blueprint. And it's an uphill battle. So if you know those things already, cool. You're just kind of at a disadvantage if you haven't done any of that before. So watch our tutorials. I don't know. Watch the Air Force One or the Air Max 1 tutorial.
Yeah, definitely build your portfolio. Seem like.
Yeah. And try to figure that out. Yeah, build a portfolio. That's probably what I would say is you've got to do a lot of selling on skills. And but if you have ideas for design, I mean, go for it. I think if I had a PLM that actually sketched, like I'd probably be into it.
Yeah.
Because then I'm not trying to guess what's in their mind, or, you know. Sometimes it's just like they'll do a brief and then you'll come back with something. A lot of times they'll be like, yo, that's cool. And then you'll move from there. But if someone was assisting, I'd be into it. I really would be.
Okay. That's going. I'm doing another one from Instagram. From Jose Cast. I'm gonna butcher their name.
Right.
Castellasso. What's the biggest thing that makes a designer hireable in the footwear industry? Because like we're already talking about like getting hired, switching positions. So
I think you would be, if you had a good understanding of proportion, if you already had some good sketching, if you can show your eye pretty well. If you're just trying to get an entry level, I think if you're just showing that you understand shoes and your proportions aren't wildly off and stuff like that, I think that's kind of the entry point. I'd say nowadays, if you can show a good use of Viscom or Newark or something, you have that kind of workflow as well. Really what we're just trying to get is that you can convince with your ideas. You can convincingly show your process, show that you can do the job, essentially. Because if you don't have that, you're kind of, it's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough. And then send your portfolio over to us. And we'll check it out and tell you if you're in a good spot. I think it's fun to have other industrial design stuff, but with footwear, you just got to show that you can draw footwear in the right. Yeah.
Let's see. This is the wacky one. If your personality was a flavor of ice cream, what is it? Are you a banana split type of person? Are you a strawberry, chocolate, vanilla?
Yeah. I am a chocolate only type of ice cream person. Like, I need chocolate plus a flavor. I would say that for sure. I think personality wise, what's interesting is you have to have an opinion. You can't not be an opinion. So I feel like if you're coming in trying to be vanilla in footwear, that's not going to work out. But at the same time, if you're too much, I don't know, it tends to weed you out a little bit. So there's like a balance you have to strike. Because like no one wants, at least I don't know that anyone wants an ego person joining the team. But they don't want someone that's like a pushover. So you gotta taste like something. I don't know. I'm definitely like I think I mean that's what I have is like I'm a chocolate. And then but it's interesting, it's like when it comes to pizza, like I'm definitely like do the classic thing correctly.
All right, you're more like a supreme type of pizza?
Yeah.
Pepperoni.
I'm not like I'll like a meat lovers thing, or I'll do, if I'm heading to like a mod pizza where you can just put on all the ingredients, I'll just put it all on. But like get my money's worth type of a thing. But it's like, yeah, do the classic thing right. But yeah, no, it's hard to be like you're doing Ben and Jerry's. There's a Tonight Dough. they're just throwing all kinds of stuff in there. It's hard to mess up chocolate plus an Oreo. You know what I'm saying? Like it's hard to it's hard to mess up chocolate brownie cookie dough all in one thing. So I think that's where I'm at. I have a personality, I have opinions, but I like to ebb and flow with everybody.
Yeah, I'm about the same way. But I love me some chocolate brownies and with vanilla.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's make the viewers hungry.
Yeah.
Where do you find inspiration?
That's like a interview question. But I so I like to find inspiration on like the good work that people put on Instagram, which kind of sounds sad, but um when I see someone do something that's never been done before, that I haven't seen before, I like to try to do it. Um, it kind of gets me motivated. I also get really inspired by like if I can get a good story going, like on
Yeah,
my
like the beach
on
shoe.
my free yeah, on my freelance stuff or on a shoe. What made this guy was a good story.
Mhm.
Some of what did the original Ghost Mac was a good story. If I can it just gives like a ground to your designs. And I sometimes I feel like I get too into narrative. And the other day I did this design for like a freelance thing, and I showed it to my wife and I told her the story, and she was like, "Yeah, okay, but that looks exactly like the story." She's like, "It's kind of boring because it just looks like the story," and you're like, "Okay." So there's like sometimes you want a little bit of discovery. Maybe you don't want the story to hit people over the face. It depends on the product. Sometimes you do. Um, I would say, yeah, I'd say that's like that inspires me. Like, get a good story going, because that's what sells people
Mhm.
and gives design meaning. Sometimes it's a story of function, and that gives the design meaning too. Um, but then I was like, I had an interview question one time that asked the same thing, like, where do you get inspired? Like, if you were going to get inspired by materials or something, like, where do you go? And I'm like, oh, I love to get in the material library and just flip books, which is kind of a sad. It's not that exciting. And so the other day I was like thinking, where else would if someone to ask me that again, I think that I would try to think of like a Google type answer, like, uh, and my answer is going to be HGTV. You know, watching like Rock the Block with my wife is where I get my inspiration.
No,
I mean,
definitely.
there's people who do like I love homes, and so I don't think there's a lot of footwear inspired by like fancy houses and stuff. But
Mhm.
I love, man, if I could go back, I've said this before, where industrial design was at BYU, like construction management was down the hallway. Sometimes I wish I switched and did that.
That's actually one of the questions. It's just hilarious.
What's up? What's the question?
Well, I want to answer the
Yeah,
this
yeah,
one.
yeah. Where's your inspiration?
Yeah, so my inspiration, I again, I look all over Instagram. I look at Behance. I look at Pinterest. A lot of times I just walk around and I just see what people are wearing, and if there's like
Yeah,
a trend or something with that, then I'm like, okay, that actually. You don't know this, but before, like a couple months ago, or not even a couple months ago, but I used to have my nose pierced. But like the reason why I got my nose pierced because I seen this guy had a nose piercing. I was like, damn, that looks good on him. I was like, maybe I could wear a nose piercing. And then like I had it and I loved it and everything, but
yeah,
it fell out one time when I was trying to rush to work, and it fell
yeah.
out when I was sleeping. And then I was like, oh snap, where did it go? I lost it. And then like I got to re-pierce it or something. Then like by the time I got back home, my nose closed up, and I was like, that's whatever.
Dang.
But like I did love it. It was just like it was like a subtle thing, like pin of jewelry, you know.
Yeah,
So I was just like, yeah, I might get it again, but I'm scared because my daughter she'll like
right.
grab things, and she'll rip my nose.
Yeah. Kids would make me scared of that for sure.
But I loved
Mm,
it. It was like a subtle little hint there. Um, but I don't know. There's a lot of inspiration out there. Even just like there's times when I'll look at the ground or something, and then like you can see like a pattern, and like maybe that's something I could translate into whatever you're trying to do. Or if like
hmm
you're looking through like a magazine and you see like some type of poster or something in the magazine that looks cool, or like editorial. I don't know, all these things kind of inspire another thing. Even at looking at my bed, like there's like patterns on the bed. How can that translate to something? I don't know.
Yeah. I like a good graphic design.
I used to, maybe I still follow this person, but it's like basically a person who just takes pictures of floors,
Hmm.
and you're just like, it just takes pictures of floor patterns. And I thought that was always cool. And I tried like every once in a while to like grab pictures of floor wherever I would see something I thought was cool. Uh, like art never really, I don't know. Art doesn't really get me going sometimes. Maybe for a color palette, but that's about it. The other day, my kids had this, they have like sticker by number now. Not color by number, but sticker by number, which I didn't know existed. It's probably been around for a while. But their sticker page, because you have to overprint, like the sticker outline, you have to overprint.
Hmm.
Um, and as they took the stickers off, it was like kind of cool. It had where the stickers were, plus a little overprint of whatever it was, and it just had these interesting geometric shapes plus color, and
Hmm.
it was cool. I took a picture of it. I might post it. But just stuff like that, like always having my eyes open, seeing something that I think is weird.
Hmm.
Design teaches you to kind of have this like third eye of seeing stuff in a different way, or how it can be a product, which is not something people think about all the time. All right, did we get to Rebecca? I'll make sure
Yeah.
her question's answered.
Yeah. We can do her question next. Um.
All right, do we feel like we answered that one? I feel like it's good.
Yeah. I mean, there's a crap ton of questions.
Yeah. But we're doing good on time. I think we're like, I was watching, we answered like 4 and quick, quick, quick.
I won't cut it.
Trying to
Just
think, if I have any questions for you. I guess, why does anime inspire you?
is that the question? We're good.
That's like, yeah, what about anime got you locked? You know?
Yeah. I think anime is because like for me, I've always started like just drawing out anime. Like I looked at the manga, I seen these characters like in the comic books and all that stuff. Even just like Marvel, just like all that stuff, just like trying to translate it. And it's like in Naruto, we have these ninjas that have like a certain type of sandal, and it's like the traction on the bottom looks really dope. Like I didn't know like anything about it, but like it was just cool. And then
Right.
like there's like a cutout for the foot, and then like as the show progressed on, people were wearing different type of footwear, and I don't think there was like any like reasoning, but like there's character design, and I love like looking at concept artists and all that stuff, and all that kind of
Hmm.
like shapes my outlook of how design is, because like I came
Right.
in just like knowing art, but then doing my own research just with you know cartoons and shows and just like animation, all that stuff kind of
Yeah.
like translated into different parts, like even like looking at this, which this is a cause shirt. He's a New York designer or artist, and
Right.
yeah, like everything, like it's wild, but that can inspire something else for anybody.
Right.
And like anime, yeah, like Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, all these big shows. There's different stories and there's world building, and it kind of goes back
Yeah.
to like that the whole Star Wars thing, that the whole
Yeah.
shoot. It's like there's a world there. Like how do you translate that world's idea into whatever you're trying to do?
Yeah. That is true. I think you get into the story of it, you just follow it, and it never ends up being boring.
Hmm.
That's great. But for me, it was always, there are cartoons, and I grew up with cartoons, but this was like cartoons on like another level, like
Hmm.
elevated, elevated to a level that it was exciting for me to see something that was like heroes, like literal heroes, and ones that did cool things that I wanted to do, but you can't do it. You can't fire energy beams and you can't blow up mountains with your mind. But I really
You can
liked
have a
it.
sick. You can have a sick utility belt.
Yeah, you can't have any of that. All right, next question.
Yeah. This one's from Instagram. So our Hope Art.
Hey,
She says, "What's something that surprised you about the footwear realm?" And she also has another question, but we
what
could start with that one.
surprises us? Um,
I can talk. I love how you know people say like footwear is like stale sometimes, and like you just kind of do the same thing over and over again.
yeah,
But at the same time, if you are in like that cohort of people, then that's how you feel. But there's so much more out there that just goes unnoticed because people are you're not in that realm enough. Um, just like going on like Paris Fashion Week, like we always see Nike just doing only core performance things, but like there's some wacky stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't get to see. And I
yeah,
just love how like footwear is just adaptable, really. Like we don't really know what the next best thing is going to be, but at the same time, there's cool things out there, and there's cool things
right.
down the pipeline. And like Skechers, oh my god, they're having a generational run right now. Remember how we were just talking about Skechers a couple of months ago?
yeah,
Like we need the culture to build up for them, and
yeah,
it's like, look at that. The next one,
yeah,
everybody's hyped for Skechers. They're like, oh my god, this is the best design ever. And it's like, wait a minute. Come on,
yeah,
guys. A couple months ago, you guys were not looking at Skechers like this.
yeah. It's like again, it's the moment of virality. It's but then you have a whole brand to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's so tough. If you're small, like how do you have a big moment and then keep backing it up and backing it up if you don't have the capital behind there um, to keep it going? Uh, Living off the hype and the vibes, because the moment your vibes can change as quick as the next reel, um, the next viral reel, the next whatever. That's why we're trying to not be viral. We're trying to build a program. We're trying to build a whole program here.
Yeah.
Um, One thing I mean, the job in itself. One thing surprised me was the amount of travel, especially if you're at a big brand.
Mm.
I took that role because I wanted to draw shoes at Brooks, and then I ended up flying all around the world like 5 times. Seeing a lot of the country of America, just seeing a lot of America, and then also going to Europe. Never thought I'd even want to go there. Um, like I know how to travel internationally, which is something I never done. Like as a kid in Virginia, my parents never traveled. They don't have passports. They're never gonna get them. They don't care. They just want to, they're happy living their life. They got their grandkids, uh, and they're happy just going in the garden and doing their thing, and that's cool. I actually envy it quite a bit, but but that surprised me a lot. Footwear, if you're in color and trend, for sure, you're going to be going to all the stuff. And that's if you're at a big brand. If you're at Brooks, Asics, Nike, Adidas, On, you name it, you're going to be at the thing. If you're doing player specific stuff, you're going to be at the NBA game. You're going to be at because you need to immerse yourself in that culture. If you're going to do the marathon run, you're going to be at Boston Marathon. You're going to be at New York. You're going to be in Chicago. You're going to be going to the stuff that makes the thing. That surprised me because I remember thinking my recruiter when I got hired she just offhand said in my intro, like my intro to the company thing, like, Jake, you're gonna want to go get your passport like immediately. Like, you want to go today. You want to get that done like as soon as possible. And I just remember looking at her like, but all right. And I didn't get my passport for like 3 or 4 months. Still, didn't even think about it. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know what she was even talking about. And the next thing I know, like, I'm going to Vietnam. And Virginia boy, I freaked out. I was like, oh my gosh. My first night in Vietnam, I was like shaking.
No.
I like couldn't believe where I was. Hadn't slept, because you have these all day flights and stuff, and
Yeah.
I was in a whole nother world. Anyway, so you get to see all that. You get to see these cultures, and in a lot of ways, be grateful for what you have or what America's like versus in some cases you like Germany has cool stuff, and
Yeah.
you get to see all this stuff, and um the way people live in Italy versus here, or the way people live, and some of that you can't help but take it into your own life. And so that was something that caught me off guard. I think. And then what you're saying in the footwear realm is, uh, oh man, I'd also say like what the other thing that caught me off guard is like blueprinting,
Mm.
doing blueprints. Like tech packing's fine, but blueprints is like another world as well. It's something I don't think you can really get until you get in here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we could do blueprints in our program, in our show. We can try to do that, but it's not. I don't think this is carry the same weight as like a real performance blueprint. Is really eye opening. And I had a guy who had been working at Brooks for 30 years teach me some blueprint stuff, and I was shocked at how I would move something like 3 millimeters, and he'd be like, "Well, I don't think you want to move it that far." Like, or I would move something by eye, and he would come in and look at it and be like 4 millimeters. He's like, "Oh, 4 millimeters is a long way to go for that line." Like, think about that where it is now, and then moving it out 4 millimeters. He's like, it's gonna look completely different because it's gonna move this and this and this, and
That's
bring the
crazy.
foam out this much, and you get thinking you want to make things real dramatic. But a lot can be accomplished with 1 millimeter, or like,
Yeah.
like a little subtlety. That
Yeah.
caught me off guard for sure. All right, what's Rebecca's next one? She's cool. I want to make sure.
Yeah. Is there anything that you both wait, is there anything that you are both still curious about within the footwear industry in the umbrella of footwear?
Do you have something or?
I think I am still curious about how, like, I don't know if you've seen like these Chinese brands, how they have like these big chunky soles, or like I've seen these running shoes that have like they're really hollow in the middle, but they have one
Yeah,
big plate, and they're like
yeah,
two like I wonder. I'm just curious, like and I think T Mac, he does like a lot of these like similar designs that are like very futuristic looking,
yeah.
and I'm just curious like how like or when is that going to become as like a normal staple of
Right.
footwear, you know? And like they're like in Puma, they have like I think their super shoe where like they have like these big 4 foot like foam
Yeah,
parts, and it's like everything's so like just empty in the back, and it's like
yeah.
pushing. Like they're just wild forms, and I'm just curious like when does that become like a normal thing where like you see people walking around and it's just like that shoe looks like a Cybertruck, you know?
Yeah. You know, I would say I always want to put on the stuff people make. I want to I want to experience that stuff too. It doesn't make me want to be like a super fast runner, but I want to know what the experience is underfoot. I'm with you on that. For me, this answer is kind of interesting. I would love to just be. It's not possible, but I wish it was. I just want to be like a fly on the wall on every team. Like for
Yeah.
me, I would love to go What's a day in the life of a New Balance footwear designer? What's a day in the life of a footwear New Balance designer who is made in America versus what's the performance person? Who's designing uh Cooper Flag shoe? What are they doing day to day? And what's that like? What's the pressure like? Is that cool? Is that not cool? What's the innovation designer at ASICS doing? I mean, in a lot of ways, I kind of have a little bit of experience of what's going on at Brooks. Kind of have a good idea of what, the person working on the glycerin's going through versus the person who's working on trail, what they're going through, and versus price point stuff. And I kind of get that. But I would like to know, like, what's the person that doing core at Nike? How are they experienced in their job versus what's, who's working on Jordan signatures and what's their life like?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's not even about wanting to do the job. It's about wanting to like experience the setting. I'm way more interested in the human resource side of the coin, what people are experiencing. I wish I could get in. I wish this program could be a lot of that, where I wish I could follow someone around.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
not look at
like
product.
shadow them.
We could even blur product out.
Yeah.
And whatever. But what's the conversation and what's the mood?
Mm-hmm.
What's the there's going to be times where you're having a success and you're having a win, but what's the downtime? Or are they happy all the time? Because a lot of times people are happy in that you know stressful situation. I find it funny. I like to find the humor in it, and people sometimes don't like that, as I like to laugh and tell people no and see what happens, or like move chess pieces and then see if it's a blunder or if it's like a good move. Like try to do that, but for me, like the strategic and the lifestyle of it is what that's what piques my interest now. Like, because I don't know if I ever want to do like athlete product, but I think designing for Kevin Durant sounds as intimidating as possible unless you have a good relationship with him and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it takes like the highest level of design prowess to like do stuff for those people, like Ja and all that stuff. You have to really impress somebody, and I don't know if I want to have that tested every day. Unless you're really good and you got it. You got to have that. And what I would hope is maybe it's not one person, it's like four people, trying to shoot their shot, and may the best person win. I think that would be a very healthy situation for those types of environments. Maybe that is how it is. I don't know. But, or what's the person designing the Kyrie? What's that life like? And that's what gets me going. And I would love to have those answers.
Yeah.
If we get enough followers, who knows, man? Maybe we do get that.
We could be the fly on the wall.
I just want to be the fly on the wall. And that would be so cool. If I could just say, like, I'm going to protect your IP, but I want to know what is going in these designers' minds. So hire us. That would be fun.
That'd be awesome.
Take a couple GoPros into the office and just anyway. We probably got enough for maybe one or two, and then we can call.
There's still so many. But this kind of funnels into that what we were just talking about. This is from Ajuma Girl. How long does it take from first sketches to actual manufacturing of a shoe?
Yeah, the product, the the pipeline is 18 to 24 months. Just because of all the things. In a perfect world, I think it could go faster. The fastest I've seen is maybe 12, but you have to live with a lot of, just because of what, you have a product vision, you're going to send that overseas, and they've got to get up to speed on what you're trying to do, as much as you have to like tell them what's going on. You have to receive stuff, pick it back up. But I want to say, you can, if you're really good with the vision. But again, a lot of people, because there's money involved, because of all this stuff, if you had a brand, it's just going to take time to, everyone wants to make sure, oh, we got to test it with these people. Oh, we got to wear test it. Does it break? Does it fall apart? Where's the stress points? Blah, blah, blah. Because you're essentially trying to put something brand new into the world, regardless of like old patterns that you've used or whatever. Like, does the stitching do this?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those things, if you're in a solid performance brand, are kind of already measured out for you. So, but your job is probably like just the front half, the first 6 of those 24 months is you.
Yeah.
And then
it goes on to like developers and.
Yeah. The back end of that is everybody who makes it and how long it takes to make 50, 100,000 million pairs. You it all gets lost in that time as well. Yeah.
I guess we're going to try to speed run.
Yeah.
This one's from Jia Jang Lin. There's a 2-part question, but
yep.
Any future for marker and paper in the industry, or is it dead? Just like, I guess, marker renderings, and I don't think it's ever going to be dead. That's one thing I think, and it's because when you first start sketching anyway, you're concepting. You always have a notepad with you. You're just trying to get your idea down, and then eventually you take it over to your iPad, Wacom, all that stuff. So I don't think it's ever going to be dead. But maybe the process of doing it is kind of dead. It's just more quicker. You're not doing full renders and marker rendering.
Yeah. I presented a couple shoes as a marker render when I first started. Yeah, I think what you're saying is right. Is it dead in the process or is it dead in practice? In practice, probably not. And you probably need to have some marker skill. Just as like a person, I think you want some marker skill. Just as a design mind, you probably want some marker skill. But I don't think it has a place in presentation. You're not gonna show up. Some people are using like not Viscom. Some people are using Blender with displacement maps to present, and you're getting stuff that's like completely real looking. And you're gonna show up with a marker render? Like, no way, man. That's what I mean. Would be cool. What would be really cool is if you could show, if you were, you would have to be pretty bold. It would be cool if you could show that your marker render could produce the same or better with the Blender person. You could say, hey, I don't need to do any of this. This person's wasting their time. I can just do marker and a piece of paper and I can get it done. This person needs an iPad needs the TPD texture brush to like
Yeah.
show their stuff off. I can do it right now. I
Yeah.
don't need this. Footwear got done that way for a long time. So it's been done.
Mm-hmm.
But as a designer, you need to be up on that stuff and you need to be fluent in it.
Yeah. One thing that
yeah, I don't think marker.
one thing that when you're speaking kind of like resonated with me. I've seen this designer on Instagram, and I think I've been following her for a while, but she does like layering, multiple papers, like marker renders on top of each other. So like you'll do a marker rendering of your actual product, and then
Yep.
you like say it's like a vase, and then you do a marker rendering of a flower, and then like you kind of like put that on top, or like the way that she does the marker rendering is probably interesting because it's like you're layering your parts. So like if this translated over to footwear, like what if you could do like a layering part of your footwear render, like where you have like a TPU cage. Like what if you remove that TPU cage? What does it look like now under your render type of deal?
Oh man, maybe that's a good sketch session. There was so Valerie used to do that.
Mm,
She would sketch something, bring tracing paper, and just like
yeah.
draw another one, trace over it, draw another one, trace over it, draw another one. She'd always be about work smarter, not harder, but man, the level of fidelity you can get on all this tech is just so much better. But there's something still to having a good hand on a post-it note, like a good feel, be able to draw something quick in a notebook that you can then scan and print.
Mm-hmm.
There's something there. It's there, and it needs to be in the needs to be in the it needs to be in the toolbox for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think we got maybe time for one, and then we just wrap it. We're at 2 hours, but that's
2 hours.
But we're almost two. I mean, we're kind of 2 hours.
Let me see what else we got.
We didn't start on time. We hit the button, and we didn't start. So it's probably a 2 hour.
This one's from Mikey Burger London.
Okay.
Have you ever considered launching your own brand or product? And like we kind of talk about this. Zellers. I'm thinking about launching my own brand, not like footwear, but I'm thinking about launching my own like clothing type of brand.
Yeah.
And I've talked to Jake about this like off camera, but I don't know. I think it'll be cool. It's a different part of me. I've never got into fashion, but I think it could be something that's fun. And like if I were to tie that to like the Zeller, that's a whole ecosystem you're kind of creating.
Yep.
So I think that's kind of cool.
I think that'd be cool. I'm gonna be straight up, and this is a great last question. The richest people I know own things. And if I had to say, like, if I want to project, a good question to ask yourself is like, what do you want to have said? Like 10 years from now, what do you want to say that you're glad you did? I'm glad 10 years ago I started this thing or did this thing. If you look back, is your life going to be empty if you didn't do X, Y, Z?
Mm-hmm.
So 10 years from now, if I feel like if I haven't started something, I've messed up, that's why we started this. If it dies, it dies. I don't know. Maybe it's going to keep going. But we started this because I feel like I have to start something. This is a toe dip into dipping my toe into content creation because I think it's a powerful tool. But I mean, my own brand though, that's a different take. I think. I mean, TPD is kind of a brand.
Yeah,
it
it
means
is.
something. It's starting to mean things to people. I hope our apparel and the stuff like that starts to mean something and as well. But my own footwear brand, that's rough, man. That's a tough road. That's a real tough road. And I would need a real big partner. I need a serious partner on that, and it would have to be a good partnership. We'd have to own it. It'd be a lot of years of hard work, and you'd hope someone would come along and pick it up. But mainly, I think if I want to start something, I want to have like as little upstart as possible. I mean, maybe it's like buying a business, investing in something. That to me is, income replacement. I think at some point you just, you arrive at a place in footwear where I look around and I think, why haven't some of these prolific designers done something on their own? You cut that middleman right out, and then you start grabbing that full profit yourself. But some people just like a W-2 job, get the benefits, get the stuff, build a legacy, get out, or retire when you can retire, and work till you're 65, get it and get it done. Like there's a generation for that. But again, the richest people I know, they own something, they've done something different. They went on their own. They took the big risk and build their own business, and they're living great. I feel like there's a cap level of income. Like I think of the VPs that I know, and I think of the people who have done this stuff for X amount of years to get in this position to be at that level. They're hitting that level at like 55, and that's 20 years. That's like less. It's about 20 years for me, and do I see myself doing, grinding footwear out for the next 18 years? Man, that sounds crazy. That sounds absolutely bonkers. So getting in is one thing, and having fun when you're first in and seeing your product go out into the world is great. But I think at some point we all have this moment of, what are we going to do with this?
Mm-hmm.
Am I designing shoes for the next, now I'm at 10 years. Do I see myself doing shoes for another 10? Or am I taking a management route and helping people do their designs or take it to the next level, pass my skill down and pass the torch and start doing spreadsheets or something?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is. And you're hard pressed, man, to find the people. Like, if I can just have this program be where people start to discover like where they can go, like
Yeah, that'd be cool.
like to find answers, because it's me. I feel like I'm out here carving my own path. Like I feel like I'm out doing this all by myself. Hitting my head against the wall, so that you guys don't have to. But I think there's got to be a point at which I'm building something. I don't know what it is, and so that's why I started this low upstart. But you can present ideas. People can vote on it. They can buy something from us if they want. But you got to be visible. You got to do something. I don't know. You said you want to build a brand. Why not? I mean, you start today. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you just.
Yeah, I just seen this this podcast with this graphic designer named Chris Doe, and he said there are smart people and then there's stupid people. And if you take damn, I'm not gonna say it as good as he did, but if you take the ST in smart and the last three in stupid, you get start or something like that. The way he said it was correct. I'm saying it, I'm butchering it, but and I was like, he's like, you take those two things, you just start doing it, start creating ideas. Because like the smart people, they they're just so stuck in their ways and they're not sure. Like they're researching everything, trying to like figure out the best idea. And then the dumb people, they're not gonna do any research. They're just gonna go do it, and they might fail. So
Yeah.
be the middle ground of like smart but dumb, but just start your idea today.
Yeah. You gotta just throw it out there. And it seems like with our show, like people keep coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
And granted, it's not in the thousands, but I have my suspicions that your content is not algorithmically blasted out until you reach a level. And I have my suspicions, how much you can post content to get followers and views as well. Anyway, point of that is yeah, I think you gotta start it. You gotta try it. Get your MBA or something. Like if you want to talk about things that I wish that I had in my arsenal, is like a business, some kind of business background that I know, so I can know how to do any of this stuff. Industrial design's cool. I was telling my friend the other day, the guy that bought the NBA team, so the European team, I was like, right now, I feel like I am just a guy making cool stuff for smart people to sell. Like, I'm just like this small part in an engine for somebody to, who's making a lot of money to make some more money. There's, and you don't have to look at it all in money and dollars and cents, but there's like a pride that comes with putting your best work forward, and I get that. But literally in that scenario, I was making a cool thing to make $1 on a, even with royalties, to make $1 on a shirt that he's selling for 50. Part of that goes to the athlete. Some of that goes to whoever's making it, and then he takes the rest. But again, if he sells 100,000, like he's making 500,000, like I'm making 100,000. The athlete's making whatever. It's just not like the designer is constantly being the low end of the totem pole. And so if you can take what you have done and what you've built up in design and then cut it all out, and you're the person doing the decision, I think there's something there. And that's what you would be like, that long-term goal. That's my thought right now. But again, and I say that because salary tops out at some point in this career. I think some people make 200 plus. Some people never even get to that point. The top dogs are probably getting 3. But what is that when I got a reeler down the street making 1.2 million? Like, what is that when I got the salesman down the road grinding, but he's making 600K? How is the guy with the business across the street, like, I can't afford this house across the street, but this dude is making food in his garage and catering, and he's got a catering business that, he's affording the $700,000 house right there that I can't approach. Like, I can't approach it.
It's different.
And so, yeah. So it's like, if you own a thing, like my buddy that I play basketball with, I ask people what they do all the time. And my buddy down and playing basketball is like, I am basically like the rafting guy for Portland, Oregon. Like rentals. He's like, I just have a garage full of rental stuff that are inflatable, and people come to me during the summer season. He's like, I am blasted. I make all my money for my whole year in 3 months.
and it's way more than my salary, man.
That's wild.
And so it's like, yeah, you got to find an angle, and you got to find something that, you know, his degree was in graphic design, but he's renting inflatables, and that's his business, and it pays everything, and it's just like him and his son, and he does it all himself. But basically all he does is clean inflatables all day. He's out there with the hose just spraying down whatever funk that came back, and flipping it to the next one. And it's like, you know,
So it's almost like that show, Dirtiest Jobs in America, you know?
Yeah. There's a guy out there. There's a guy out, literally, power washing sidewalk. And I'm like, man, I wonder how that guy's doing. Like, team of one, power washing sidewalk. I'm like, he might be doing better than a footwear designer. The level of grind that you have to like measure out the level of grind that you want to have. Like, is the level of grind in footwear design worth the paycheck? It worth seeing your work out there, worth getting the swoosh or a big brand on your resume. You measure it out, and you get down this road, and I think it's still cool. But sometimes I feel like it's sold on us a little bit.
Yeah.
It's sold on like the tinkers. It's sold on because you think you want to be the next. If you can be the guy that designs with Cooper Flag, or if you're the guy that's doing Caitlin Clark's thing, or it's the prestige. But man, dude, you go through a lot of stuff to get that one thing out there, and maybe you don't even end up being the guy.
Yeah.
You get halfway through, and they say, you know what, we're gonna bring in this other dude, and he's gonna do it. And it's like, you get your heart broken, or it's like you just gotta. I'm not saying don't do footwear, but you choose your angles, and I don't know. To answer that question, the richest people I know own something. They do something on their own. So you might want to try it, especially if you're young. Might try to get something going. But
yeah, taking ownership over your own ideas and designs can definitely go a long way. So
yeah. All right. But for those of us who haven't, we still design shoes. Yeah, but no, I just think somehow people are putting food on their tables, but they're not footwear designers. I'm like, what the heck is everybody doing out there? But that's what's got me. I mean, you do something for 10 years, you're gonna eventually start to look left and right and be like, what's going on? It's a fun ride, that's for sure. But all right, that's an episode. We're 2 hours in your ears, I think. If anyone makes it to this far, shout out Footwear Composer, who says he listens to the whole episode.
That's exciting.
Shout out to some people who would say they make through the whole thing. At least you can get a break and listen to Shoe Talk.
Yeah.
We're
here for it.
All right, like and subscribe. Hit us up. I'm gonna try to reel some of this stuff. I don't know. We'll see. See if I get around to it. All right. We'll catch you next time. Tech Factor Do, the only footwear design podcast ever. Thanks for being the MC, Skippy, and firing the question.
No problem. I'm here.
All right. We'll see ya. All right.